Hello, welcome to Billy Ho's Sports. Derby fever is highly contagious, so look out for that. Hope you've got your vaccinations. I love this Saturday card at Oaklawn Park. The Pick 5 is fire. I'll have that video out probably tomorrow. Still going through that one, but the Arkansas Derby preview blowing up, cornucopian and Coal Battle and just Sandman, just really good field. Definitely better than the Florida Derby field, as I've seen from the response of the videos that I've done, because I do have a preview for the Florida Derby. So be sure to check that one out too. Both of those races are the 100-point Derby prep races. They're also part of my giveaway for a free Derby glass. First one to correctly pick the winner wins the glass. So we may start making some adjustments to that just so I can start giving some stuff away, because I haven't heard from the two previous ones that won the other day. I believe it was at Hello Sully, and another one was College CFB. I forgot, but you could look at the video and you could tell Arkansas Derby preview video is where I did the drawing. So check it out. Email me and let's set it up. Get you those Derby glasses. Now, could not resist covering the 8th race on the card Saturday, which is the Grade 3 Oaklawn Mile. The field is loaded with some top older horses, fast horses. It's going to be a bloodbath. So this is going to be a special bonus Derby glass giveaway. So let's pick the winner of this race, and then maybe the first one or two even that pick a winner will win a free Derby glass. Vintage Derby glasses, I mean, they're anywhere. I'll give you your pick of the litter. I've got about 20 of them. Some of them are duplicates, but they range from anywhere from the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s to Derby 150. So there's all kinds of different kinds. I've got a list for you. So I digress. Pick the winner. Subscribe to the channel, because that's the only way you can win a Derby glass. Hit that like button and let's get after this race. Okay, so Oaklawn Mile, 8th race. Grade 3, $500,000 purse, 4-year-olds and upward. This is a big one. It's a mile race, but you can notice they're not going out of the chute like over here. They are starting right here and then rounding. So it's going to be a pretty quick run to the first turn here. That may make a difference. I don't really know yet. We'll have to see at the end, so stick around. But we start with the Wine Steward, and a pretty sharp horse, man. I was on him. I thought he was going to be a bright future Derby trailer. Won the Bashford Manor at Ellis, and a couple state breds. The funny side was a state bred, but that was Saratoga. He won that one by a head. Over the next two behind him that he beat won their next races. That's always key. Then he goes to Keeneland in the Breeders' Futurity and runs a hell of a race down to the wire with Locked. He loses by a half length, but they were head-to-head down the stretch. So that ends his 2-year-old season. He comes into Lexington, Grade 3, a little late in the game to be trying to make the Derby. So I don't know if they threw him in there thinking he might win the race and make the Derby, but that would have been a little bit too close. So I don't think that was their plan. I think they were prepping for the Belmont the whole time, because he runs a solid second here behind Encino. And then he goes to the Peter Pan and another second place to Antiquarian. So that sets him up to come over here to the Belmont, and he did not fare well. But that's 10 furlongs, folks. So, he's gone a mile and an 8. He can run the distances. He's got a 7.2 average win distance out of Vino Rosso, or by Vino Rosso. So don't correct me there, peeps. So by Vino Rosso, solid connections there. Not as good as he started out, but still, this one's good horse. So he takes the rest of the year off after the Belmont flop. They reevaluate what they want to do with him. Mike Maker is a very, very good trainer on the West Coast. Now they got Jose Ortiz riding, who's just 4 out of 8 so far at Oaklawn. So he's just tearing it up there like he is all over the planet. So he comes into debut January in the 5th season stakes and runs a really nice 96 speed figure takes over down the stretch and beats him by a neck. So that was just a listed stakes, but he's a definite grade one, grade two, graded stakes competitor. So really nice landing spot for him here. Good call by Maker. Got him a mile race, which that's what this is, at Oaklawn Park. So he's going to be ready to roll. He's going to be a nice little sleeper third choice when everybody's looking at the other two. So 4-1 morning line is not too awful bad. That now I'm McDreamy, probably not going to get there. Be McDreamian of somewhere else to be. So 20-1. He's a quality horse, jumping in class though. He's going to go. He's probably, if he goes after the lead like he normally does, Saudi Crown will dust his ass. So I'm not feeling McDreamy at all. But Banishing is one that I am feeling. David Jacobson's got this one dialed in, pretty hot fire. So good way to go here. Runs mainly sprints in the 24 season, then debuts in this one at Oaklawn going 6 and blows them out of the water. Osborne and Wendelson are running on the undercard today, but they're going to be in a smaller stakes races. So pretty good run, 97, 99, 97. Then he pops in the Razorback. Grade 3, that was high level competition. There was First Mission. There was Alexander Helios who won that race. Well, he was coming down the stretch with a shot. He led the whole way out front, setting little less than stellar fractions, a little on the slow side, -6, -4, but not that slow. Just a touch below average. Runs 100 in the middle, runs a 103 down the stretch, fighting tooth and nail to keep Alexander Helios at bay, but just couldn't do it. Lost by a head. I mean, the head bob was a whisker. So this horse is really good. Flavian Pratt is getting his second mount up on it. So definite top level horse. Now, this is the interesting one. I posted on X earlier, and a lot of times it's hard. You just have to stumble on cross entries sometimes when you're doing this stuff. Cross entered. He's in the Eclipse, which is, I think, race 10 or something like that later on. But the Eclipse is a 6 furlong sprint, so I'm waffling. The competition is not as fierce. I think Just Steel could handle him because he ran pretty good here at 6 furlongs coming off a long layoff since the Preakness. And his problem was Dwayne just wore him out. He started his career and never stopped on a month-to-month basis for 8 straight starts all the way to the Preakness, and he was just done. The Kentucky Derby taxed him. I mean, he ran a really good Arkansas Derby behind Muth, and I was really high on him coming into the Kentucky Derby, but he obviously traffic trouble. Kentucky Derby will ruin anyone. So he probably killed his confidence, and then they tried to run him back in the Preakness, which he was hanging in there for a while, but he fell to 5th by 10. Broke outward, obviously bumped, stalking, and gave way. So they said, let's shelve him. We'll figure out what to do with him, and we'll come back in 2025. Well, here's where we are. He comes in and runs a so-so 5th, and then he goes bumps it up to a mile, and that's what this race is. And it's optional claiming, and he still doesn't get there. He should run better, but he did run really fast early on. But he's just not. Dwayne runs him into shape for a reason. So he probably just needs to get his fitness back, but 2 under his belt ought to help with that. So I don't know. I would use him underneath. He's sired by Justify, for God's sake. So eligible to third off, layoff, all that stuff. And he does have really, really good front end speed, even though he doesn't look like he does. So I think the 6 furlong race in the Eclipse could be doable for him because if he could get out to the lead, he could fight off a lesser competition in a 6 furlong race. So just FYI, keep an eye on the scratches for the morning time because we don't know what's going to happen. But the coach has a plan, and I like him. Number 5 is Dematic, a horse who I thought was interesting at the time when he was running well down here in the West Virginia Derby and whatnot. And Ohio Derby wasn't too bad. Then he wins the Zia Park Derby to close out his 3-year-old season, and then comes in the sire by Gunrunner, 4-year-old colt. Not really good, beaten favorite in the optional claimer, and then just flat falls on his face in the Razorback. And I would equate this competition-wise to the Razorback as well, even though it's only a mile-long race. Keith Asmussen aboard, no thanks. Emmanuel, another one I'd like to give a shot because he's definitely got massive amounts of Grade One stakes experience, but it's all on the turf, and he's had mild, he's cashing checks here and there. Fourth, he wins the Canadian Turf back in March of last year, and then comes up here fourth, check fourth, and then a couple of as he steps up in class a little bit, not so much, but then he tries the synthetic in the handicap here at Gulfstream, and just nothing, and nothing in the tank. He makes it about that far, and that's a mile and 70, so it is getting a little bit of a break on the distance, but weaker, and no thanks. I think they probably need to take him back to the turf and see if they can work that out. Then Payne is another one probably not a lot of interest in, just a whole lot of jelly and no toast. Claiming, optional claiming. He's beaten up on claimers. 50K, I mean, that's decent competition, but this is graded stakes, folks. So no thanks. I don't care if it's a 102 or not. Christian Torres, I'm not a fan either. Now here's your dude, Saudi Crown, coming in for Brad Cox, Florent Geroux, up again like he has been on all his races. The only bad races he runs are just the absolute pinnacle of competition. Breeders' Cup Classic 2023 just couldn't maintain the mile and a quarter on the lead. He likes to get out front and run. Saudi Cup did the same thing and then fell off at the end. He was beaten by Senor closers Buscador and Ushpa Tesoro. That's high level competition. And then he takes the break in March, comes back in August of 24, and then the Cowboys up, so to speak, rolls there. And then that is his prep for the dirt mile. They figured they'd cut him to a mile, and he was nowhere to be found. Full Serrano just destroyed him that day in domestic products. So I don't really know what happened to him there. I'd have to go rewatch the races a couple of times, but these are races that I could just draw a line through because he bounces right back after a brief respite and nails it in the tenacious going wire, not really wire to wire, but a nice little early pace, nice even pace. And then he goes and tries the pinnacle once again, the Grade One Pacific World or Pegasus World Cup at Gulfstream earlier this year. Leads the whole way, then hits the stretch, gives it up to White Barrio and Locke. Skippy goes by. He just weakened going 9 furlongs. Well, he only has to go 8 this time. So he can blast off for 8 furlongs, and there's probably no reason why he won't win this race, but I am going to try to beat him. So just to get to the final selections, let's do that now. Just a quick caveat, if Just Steel does go here, I'll think about it, but I don't think I'm going to go with like the upset win bet, but could be a live long shot. The Wine Steward is my sleeper, though, if you want to call him that. He's the third choice on the board. I think if he can avoid getting tangled up with Saudi Crown and Banishing in a speed duel early on, maybe those two burn each other out. Who knows? And then he's just sitting off the pace just a little bit where he can pounce down the stretch. The one post, not detrimental in any way on the 2-turn mile. Nice little tucked in position. Won't have to worry about getting to a spot out of the gate to the first turn, so that's nice. But the most likely winner, yeah, probably Saudi Crown. I mean, he's just awesome horse. So keep an eye on the morning scratches for Just Steel if he goes. But I would go just like the 3. I mean, Saudi, Banishing, and the Wine Steward, and I'd box those in a try and move on with life. I don't know that anybody other than maybe Just Steel would get in there and mess with either of these 3 horses. So that's all I've got for you for this race. Be on the lookout for more coverage to come. Get those picks in for the Derby glasses, and let's go. Till then, see you soon.